We're going to be talking about the Big Bang and God? Yup, stick around. One of the biggest questions that mankind has ever faced is, how did our universe come to be? How did we get here? Why is there something rather than nothing? For years, scientists had believed that our universe was eternal. There were those whose beliefs were consistent with the biblical account of God's creative decree in Genesis chapter 1. So, is the universe eternal, or did it have a beginning? Well, we have come a long way. With the advances in science and technology, there's overwhelming evidence today that suggests to us that our universe did have a beginning. There are 5 major lines of evidence that show us that our universe did have a beginning at what is now called the Big Bang. First, the first and second law of thermodynamics. The first law tells us that the amount of energy within our universe remains constant, meaning that it stays the same and no more energy is input into the system. The second law tells us that while the quantity of energy within our universe stays the same, the amount of usable energy decreases as it's used up. Essentially, this tells us that our universe is running out of usable energy. This is what's known as entropy. Entropy is the degree of disorder within a system. As the amount of usable energy is consumed, the amount of unusable energy increases, and so does the amount of disorder or chaos. Basically, things tend to get more disorderly. So our universe is becoming more and more disorderly or chaotic as the amount of usable energy decreases. Once the usable energy is consumed, the universe will come to a predicted heat death. If our universe began an infinitely long time ago, then it would have reached a state of absolute entropy or disorder by now. But here we are. There still seems to be some semblance of order and usable energy, so this suggests to us that our universe could not have begun an infinitely long time ago and is therefore finite, which means our universe had a beginning. Number 2, the expanding universe. Astrology has shown us that our universe is expanding out in every direction from what appears to be a singular point. Studies show that the expansion rate is actually increasing, meaning that the speed at which the universe is increasing is actually picking up the pace. Based on the information, if we were to rewind the expansion process, we would see the universe collapse back to a singular point in time, hence the Big Bang. Number 3, background radiation echo. Scientists long speculated that if the Big Bang were true, then there would be a significant amount of radiation from such a burst of energy. The radiation was discovered in 1965 by Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson. This helps confirm the Big Bang theory, showing that the universe did have a beginning. Number 4, great galaxy seeds. After finding the predicted expanding universe and the radiation afterglow, scientists turned their attention to another prediction that would confirm the Big Bang. If the Big Bang actually occurred, scientists believe that we should see slight variations or ripples in the temperature of the cosmic background radiation. These temperature ripples enable matter to congregate by gravitational attraction into galaxies. The space probe COBE, or Cosmic Background Explorer, was launched in 1989, and it not only found the ripples, but scientists were amazed at their precision. The ripples show that the explosion and expansion of the universe was precisely tweaked to cause just enough matter to congregate to allow galaxy formation, but not enough to cause the universe to collapse back on itself. Number 5. Einstein's theory of general relativity. The theory itself, which has been verified to 5 decimal places, demands an absolute beginning for time, space, and matter. It shows that time, space, and matter are correlative. That is, they are interdependent. You cannot have one without the others. Stephen Hawking had this to say about the beginning of our universe. Almost everyone now believes that the universe and time itself had a beginning at the Big Bang. How about Richard Dawkins? He says this: of course it's counterintuitive that you can get something from nothing. Of course common sense doesn't allow you to get something from nothing. That's why it's interesting. It's got to be interesting to give rise to the universe at all. Something mysterious had to give rise to the origin of the universe. Okay, so do these lines of evidence confirming the Big Bang point us to God? The fundamental law of all science is the law of causality. Science is a search for causes. Scientists are consistently trying to figure out what caused what. Throw out the law of causality and you might as well throw out science itself. The law of causality tells us that everything that had a beginning or came to be needs a cause. If we can deduce that our universe did indeed have a beginning, then it would need a cause. So if our universe had a beginning, then something needs to have caused it to come into existence. But what would this cause have to look like in order to cause the entire universe to come into existence? When we are trying to explain an event in the remote past, we must draw on our knowledge of cause and effect. We do know that time, space, and matter are interdependent, and all three originated at the Big Bang. So first of all, this first cause cannot be made of matter, it must be spaceless, outside of space, and it must be timeless, outside of time. So this first cause cannot be natural or material, since the laws of nature and nature itself began at the Big Bang. Let's continue to draw on our knowledge of cause and effect. We have never experienced mere material create something new from existing material. In other words, we have never seen materials rearrange themselves into forming a jet airplane, a car, or a watch. What is the cause of these materials rearranging themselves into a jet airplane? Agency, specifically an intelligent mind and a will. This type of cause is intelligent and has a will to create the jet airplane or not to create the jet airplane. And keep in mind, a jet airplane is far less significant than our entire universe. Now let's jump back to our universe. We know that this first cause is spaceless, timeless, and immaterial. To create something so vast and intricately designed, it would take a massive intellect. And it's not creating something from existing material, it is literally creating something out of nothing. This intellect would have to be extremely powerful in order to create something out of nothing. This powerful intellect would also need to have the ability to choose to create or not to create. Mere material does not have the ability to choose or not to choose. Choosing to create would also make this first cause personal. All of these characteristics, spaceless, timeless, immaterial, intelligent, powerful, volitional, personal, are what we attribute to God. So does this Big Bang help us point to God? Absolutely. Keep this in mind. Something has to be eternal. If there was ever a single moment in history past where nothing existed, then nothing would exist today, because you cannot get something from nothing. So either the universe is eternal, which we know beyond a reasonable doubt that it isn't, or something else is. In this case, I argue that it is God. This is not necessarily an argument for the Christian God. This is a starting block for building a case for the Christian God. This argument is meant to prove the existence of a God. It is a theistic argument. We will be addressing common skeptical objections in the next video, along with some atheistic theories for the cause of our universe. Stay tuned.